so excited. Today we have a guest who is multifaceted, multi-accomplished, multi-adored. She has appeared on tons of TV shows and movies we have come to cherish. Seinfeld. He's just not that into you, which has been my Bible since that movie came out. So thank you very much. Simultaneously, her love for animals led to a 2-decade-long and still growing career in animal rescue, including running a dog's life rescue in Los Angeles. As fundraising became a significant player in her life, Julia and her partner developed Hera the Dog, an organic and super distilled vodka that donates a portion of proceeds to animal rescue organizations, including Deity. Please welcome Julia Pennington.
Thank you. Did you write that?
Perhaps.
I wrote that.
It's so good.
I was
Thank
testing
you.
her too. I was going to wait and see if she was going to take credit
Did
for
I
it.
ad-lib at all?
Yeah, you did. You made it casual, which is exactly why you do the intros.
So good. Thank you. That was very generous.
Well, you know what? It was
Lindsay,
easy.
that was very generous.
Thank you.
Good job reading it.
Thank you. Thank you. But you're easy. That was easy. You've done so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, and I think one of the first times we met, I was like, okay, wait, you were in rescue and now you also have a vodka line.
Doesn't make sense?
Tell us about how that
Originally,
happened.
it didn't. It makes sense to me now. But originally, I was like, oh, I wonder how that bridge happened.
Yeah, it's a little disconnected.
Yeah, tell us.
So I've been involved in rescue for, officially, I guess, 25 years now. And I know you guys get this right away. Burnout, compassion fatigue. So it's really interesting. First of all, thank you for having me on here. And I was watching some of your podcasts and coming to this and creating this, trying to sort of revive some of that fresh feeling and that energy. It's tied into that because I was having compassion fatigue. Our rescue, we focused on street trapping. So we were on the streets all the time. It's really hard on the body, really hard on the emotions, as you know. Rescue is a wrecking ball. It wrecks your life.
Ooh.
And you have to be so careful. And I was looking around going, I've been doing this for so long. I don't feel like I'm making enough of a difference. And I'm just getting worn down. What can I do where I can just raise funds specifically? Well, actually, let me backstep. So I first pivoted to focus on spay and neuter because that is the answer. I was
I
like,
feel like she's in our bodies.
right? Because I was
one of
like,
us.
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We can't adopt our way out of this. And we're spending all this time on one animal at a time. That animal means everything when we're in it. And I will never let that animal slip through the cracks once they're in our care. But overall, it's not enough impact. So I switched to spay and neuter, and our donations just plummeted.
Yep.
No one wanted to donate. We even had some donors that I called up and would say, hey, we're doing a spay clinic. And they said, 2 different people said, can you call me when there's an emergency?
Oh.
And so I
But
started
we're trying to avoid the emergencies by doing this.
Exactly. But, as we've talked about, it's not sexy. It's not adrenaline.
Right.
And they mean well. They just aren't in the middle of the chaos. So they don't understand that this is the emergency. And so I was like, well, this isn't going to happen. No one's going to donate to our spay and neuter van. So I started thinking of lots of ideas, most of them really bad. Nonprofit car wash. I was selling T-shirts at heavy metal concerts for 6 months. I was trying everything, and I got really, really down for about 2 weeks. And I called my brother one day, and I said, I'm struggling. I don't feel like I'm capable of figuring out an answer to this. And he said, why are you doing alcohol? Our nephew has a distillery. So I'm an investor in the distillery. I never, ever, it was sitting right in front of my nose, light bulb moment right away, and said, that's it. That's going to be it. So I called my nephew. We flushed it out. We spent 2 years to R&D because I'm very much someone who likes to have a good plan, especially when I'm going into an entire industry that I know nothing about, which is terrifying. But at the same, I was like, this can work. I just knew from the beginning it could work. So after 2 years, in 2018, December of that year, going into 2019, we launched Hera the Dog Vodka. Our goal is to donate 50% of all our profits.
Amazing.
And thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing.
And we are not in a profit situation yet. But from day one, I didn't want to wait. So we do $1 a bottle, which is actually 6% of our sales.
Wow.
So from day one, we do $1 a bottle. And then what started happening really naturally is some restaurants came on board because we have a nonprofit arm to it called Animal Spirits Foundation. And they started saying, let's do yappy hours. Let's donate. We'll donate. So they started doing these yappy hours where they give $3 a cocktail during the yappy hour. And so it just started building up and building this community. So to date, we've raised just over $56,000
Oh my gosh.
for rescues. We run 3 mobile spay days. We just did one with Stray Paws, the amazing group. A month ago, we fixed 34 cats in 3 hours, all with vodka money.
Wow.
That is a big impact.
Thank you. So we do say we're drinking their balls off.
Love that.
And then the cocktail kits happened because during the pandemic hit, we were only a year old. And I was like, oh my God, we're so tiny. We can't do anything. People really didn't know about us. We couldn't fundraise that year. We couldn't do events in person. So I started brainstorming and went to my co-founder, Allison Lang, and said, I think we should do cocktail kits because everyone's drinking at home. So we did. And we decided to give 100% of the profits from the cocktail kits.
Amazing.
And we've just continued them every year. And the fun thing about them is not only do we give all the profit margin, when you order them online, there's a drop-down menu and you get to pick which rescue from the selection gets the profit margin from your purchase. So you get 5 kits, you can pick 5 different rescues. And of course, you guys have been on there since year 1. So
I love that you said one fun thing about them. That is only one fun thing about the kits. There's also some other fun things about
say
them.
that?
You're like, one fun thing is you get to choose your rescue. I'm like, yes, that's one of the fun things, I guess.
And we're very careful about, this brings me back to you guys because this is the point of the vodka really, is supporting grassroots rescues and spay and neuter. And part of the reason I did it also is because I was hitting burnout, 1, but 2, I was also watching all these rescues around me that I adore, and I was watching them struggle because I was also seeing, and I'm just going to say it, I was seeing in rescue, it's not equal. There's no regulation. So you have tons of different rescues and different levels of quality, in my opinion. So you also had these huge organizations coming into LA where there's a lot of money and spending a ton on marketing, but not actually doing what they say they do. And then I was watching these grassroots rescues like you guys, hauling your asses on the street, doing everything, being thorough, putting blood, sweat, and tears into every animal, but then you don't have time to raise money. Right. It's like you can't do it all at once. And so I was like, I really want to create this because I want you guys to have like actors having mailbox money. I don't want you to have to think about this.
Mailbox money.
Right? I just wanted to produce money, and then you open, and Ellen's like, another $10,000 from Hera the Dog. And a bottle of vodka.
And a bottle of vodka.
That's our lucky day.
Yeah, so that's my goal, and that focus on spay and neuter, because I know we can make a difference with spay and neuter. And also because we're rescuers, we need to fucking drink sometimes. Am I allowed to say fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry. Sometimes you just need a cocktail. On that note,
Totally.
I brought the 3 kits so you guys could see them because
let's
they're on
see
sale
them.
until January 1st. And
100% of the proceeds go to rescue.
100% of the profits. So
Of the profits.
we're very transparent. We cover our cost of goods.
Yes.
So we cover that. We don't cover any of the other expenses. Like we take a loss on everything else, but we cover the cost of goods, and then you guys have the profit margin from the cost of goods. The kits are $98. After we pay the store, the distributor, cover all the ingredients, it comes to anywhere from just over $20 to $23 per kit goes to the rescue.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
We've given your kits over the holidays before, and rave reviews
They're
coming
huge
back.
hit.
They love it.
Do you know what people love? And I actually want to ask you because I feel like there was a good story about this, but people love the bottle. Wasn't the dog something special on the bottle that you created?
Oh, she's special now.
Tell us about her.
So my husband is our designer. He's very talented, and I'm partial, but he is really talented. And so he came on to design. The first thing he said, first of all, and you guys will get this too, is said, don't be an asshole. Have a bartender-friendly bottle. Like have something easy on the shelf, easy to hold, easy to pour. So we knew the shape of the bottle that we were going for. Nothing weird, no kitschy, like trendy thing.
Right.
And then with the label, we knew we wanted a dog on there. And I had a vision of what I wanted her to be. You know Kennethon Park, right?
Yes.
We had done a ton of trapping there because people dump animals there all the time. But it's also, I don't know if everyone knows, but it's this stunning park. If you're headed down La Cienega to the airport, it's over by the oil fields, and a lot of people don't know about it, but it's such a beautiful park. And if you go on the hills there, you can see downtown, the ocean, and the Hollywood Hills.
Oh, wow.
And so you have this vista that's amazing. Yet there's so much sadness that I had dealt with there. But I was like, that's where she is. So I said to my husband's brother who was drawing her, he probably hates me for this, but I was like, you can't tell if she's large or small. She's sitting on this hill at this park. And I described the park because she's watching over Los Angeles. So you need to see a little bit of the wind because she's the protector. She's elegant, but she's not groomed. She's strong, but she's not aggressive. But you've got to get a feeling of elegance, like elegance, strength, and she's female. I didn't have a name yet, but I was like, she's definitely female.
We get that.
And he nailed it. He nailed it.
Did. I love that. I love her.
Hera.
Thank you. And then I didn't have a name. And I was feeding the cat colonies because, you know, I manage cat colonies. And I was feeding cat colonies one night. My husband's ready to go with everything. He's like, I'm ready to go. The vodka's ready. We need a name. And I was freaking out. And you know how sometimes the more that the pressure builds, the worse you are at doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
So I was really psyching myself out. I can't get a name. I can't get a name. I'll never get a name. I'm not good at this. And I was at the cat colonies and my best friend called me, and she's in Nashville where I'm from. And she's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, it sucks. I can't figure a name for this freaking vodka. Everyone's waiting on me. I don't know what to do. And she said, Julie, just keep it simple. Just call it Hera the Dog. Well, I had a cat named Hera. And I was like, Kelly, Hera's a cat. And she goes, no, Hera of the Dog. And I was like, Hera's a cat. And she goes, Hera of the Dog. I'm like, Kelly, you know Hera's a cat. And she goes, Hera of the Dog.
She's
that
like,
bit
why are
you
you not getting it?
And I was like, bingo. So it's
Amazing.
really named
Perfect.
after my cat,
Yeah.
Hera.
Yeah.
But
That was kismet.
well, I always think when something like that happens, I feel like it's the people that I've loved in my life who have passed away, like grandparents. When that happens, I really think they've just come in. Like I feel so protected sometimes because I feel so gifted because things like that happen. When I get pushed up into a corner, I feel like something always happens. And I think you did it.
Thank
Like,
you.
because definitely not me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Does that make sense?
Totally. I feel the same way. And it's Hera now who's like watching over you. She's like, go ahead, run with this. And
Yeah.
we're going to drink it. We're going to drink it.
We're going to drink
Yeah.
it. We're going to drink their balls off.
We're going to drink their balls off.
Tell us about the kids.
Okay, so we have 3 kits, but I'm going to be quick on this. We have Meant to be Merry, which is this vibrant red pomegranate cranberry based drink. The juices are incredible. They're not very easy to find in America, these products, and I did that on purpose because I want it to be a special treat.
Yeah.
Pomona, the pomegranate juice, they also donated a lot of the juice to us, and they've been incredible to work with. And when you try the juice on its own, it's just, you won't stop. It's like that juice that you can't stop drinking.
Awesome.
And then we have a candy cane syrup in it. So it's a pomegranate cranberry peppermint cocktail with a splash of fever tree lime yuzu soda.
Oh.
So it's like this bright citrus feel right after that. It's very festive, and you line the rim of the glass with crushed candy cane.
And if I might add in here, I want to just let everyone know that everything you need and everything you're talking about is in that kit. So basically, you just need to open the kit and make it and put it into glasses.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Can you come do my pitch for me?
You're like,
I'm
oh yeah,
here.
that's important.
I'm here for you anytime. And to drink them afterwards too.
And the other kit that we have is Hera the Dirty Dog. And we have this kit every year because it's just solid. It's a dirty martini, and it's with our dear friends from Dirty Sue. They have the most incredible olive juice. E.T., who is the founder of Dirty Sue, used to run the bar at Jones Hollywood.
I know Dirty Sue's from Jones.
Right?
Yeah, that was my Wednesday beverage.
Yes, exactly. And so he took it from there once he developed it and created this incredible company. He also has a house full of rescue dogs, so he gets it.
Amazing. More Dirty
Aw.
Sue's then.
Yes, and then the olives that are in there are jalapeno stuffed olives, also from Dirty Sue.
Yum.
And just solid, really good. Has a little heat to it right after you have that smooth martini. It's really good.
Love that.
But the one that we are going to imbibe in today is called the Chai Love You a Latte.
Aw, love that.
Because I chai love you a latte.
I chai love you a latte too.
And it's based with a chai tea. from Jinwei Tea Company, which is
Nope,
female
not
owned.
that one.
Yes. So
That's
we
enough.
start with that. Well, I'll
is
tell you.
what-
Why don't I tell you about it as you build it? Let's do it as you make
okay.
it.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
so I
gonna
want
move
you
this.
guys to make this cocktail kit today.
Okay.
Because the point is, we've done this so anyone at home can do it. Anyone can make it. We put all the directions in there. You have everything you need except ice and the glass.
But we have ice and glasses.
Now you come prepared. Thank you very much.
Okay. What are we doing? Here's this if you need
Well,
it.
you have directions.
Okay. First things first, we are measuring this doggy style.
So we have a shot glass in there because we say we do everything doggy style. Because who doesn't love doggy style, right? Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Pour me a
Add
drink first and then we'll
one
discuss.
tea sachet into our cocktail shaker.
So take the chai tea.
Oh my goodness, this smells so good. Okay. Keep up, Al.
Hey.
This is what happens when women run. We have our tea bag and our vodka in here. Then we're going to go right ahead and add that creamy coffee latte.
And it's all vegan,
You
by
might
the
shake
way.
it up. All vegan,
All vegan.
always.
This we're doing 3
Vegan.
ounces of milkademia.
So if you don't know this company, Milkademia, their focus on sustainability is incredible. It's worth looking at their website. They're an entirely plant-based company. This it's perfect. It's such an incredible product. And they also donated almost all of these to us for this, so we could
That
get
is
more money
so
for the rescues.
kind.
Good job.
Thank you. I knew I could do it.
She's the woman for the job.
Oh, the syrup and the ice.
It's an orgeat. It's an almond syrup that's so, you should smell it when you
This
open
is
it. It
so
smells
pretty.
so divine. Look at you two.
Shake it up.
This
is
is
lunch.
such a good
Oh,
idea.
this makes sense. It has coffee in it. It's,
Yeah. This is
midday.
It's all encompassing.
Yeah.
Wait till we get the good stuff on top.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right.
We still have a garnish. I can smell it.
So good.
Wow, good job. I'm actually really impressed. Don't forget the oranges.
I would never.
So the orange slices are dusted in this edible gold, and they were created by Nadine Medina, who is the mastermind behind the cocktail cone, and she developed this recipe. Those look amazing.
Yes, they are.
Are we ready for a cheers?
Oh my God, this turned out so cute.
To spreading love.
Did
And-
I get you?
There you go.
And funding spay neuters.
Chai love you latte.
Which I love you a latte too. And I love you too.
I love you guys too. Oh! Oh, we like it so much.
Oh my gosh.
It's an A+ on the chai love you lattes.
What, right?
The glitter tastes divine. It's not glitter, it's gold.
Gold
like
glitter.
Oh, it's gold glitter.
It's like the smoothie I get after my workout, except with alcohol and glitter.
So good.
Mm.
Yeah. You do
Oh, it
this.
goes down super easily.
It's a little scary.
Mm.
Let's continue talking.
Honestly, like a milkshake.
First of all, if I may say, I am a vodka tequila girl. And the first time I ever tried Hera, I was like, oh my gosh. And mind you, it was holiday at Deity and we had never worked so hard in our life. And I'm not a big drinker. So when I say I need a drink, I need it. And Hera was there.
Yeah.
We had a
Yeah.
couple of bottles. You had dropped some off. And we were doing shots of Hera. I'm like, this is so smooth. And
Yeah.
it just had like, I don't know, it just went down really easy. I love it so much. I live on the west side in LA and I've gone into many a restaurant and bar here and you guys are in there. You're
Thank you.
Elefante, Bell's Beach
Well,
House.
let's also, Elefante and Bell's Beach, when we sell bottles to them, $1 a bottle goes to you guys, remember? So we earmark
not
for different
forget.
restaurants and bars. We earmark for different rescues.
Oh, those are our bars.
Those are yours.
I love that for us. That's so great.
Yeah.
I do love Hera. I had a lot of Hera at my wedding.
Yeah.
Aw.
I
Good.
got
She was-
exclusively Hera vodka at my wedding.
Wait till you see the B-roll we're going to roll of Lindsay at her wedding. She put herself to bed halfway through the reception.
I went to bed super early. Honestly, show it. I paid so much for that dress and I wore it for like an hour.
I do want to point out, Lindsay has finished her cocktail.
Good.
Here's the question. You're an actress by career.
Used to be.
Used to be an actress.
Yes.
What was the bridge to animal rescue or was it simultaneous?
I think it was more the bridge to acting. So I'm from Nashville, and back in the 80s, the shelters there still are rough. It's country, even though it's a developed cosmopolitan city. So during high school, I started volunteering at my local shelter in Franklin, Tennessee. And it was bad. But I think that I was able to do it because I feel like when you're younger, when you're a teenager, you're resilient. I feel like the older I get, the harder it is for me to walk the rows at the shelter, to do things like that.
Yep.
But when you're a teenager, you're like, this is horrible, but there's some resilience in there. And so I kept going. And on Fridays, my senior year, you get a half day to do something. So I would go to the shelter. And that's when I found out that Fridays was also their death day.
Oh.
I didn't have another day I could go. I could only go on Fridays. And so I would go at the end of my school day on Fridays. And there wouldn't be a ton of dogs and cats there because that morning is when the hospitals would come and collect the dogs for medical research. Some weeks they didn't show up, but some weeks they did. And so some of them went to medical research that morning. And then by end of day, they were gassing the rest. They let so few live because they were flooded by the next week. And so I would go on Fridays and just say to every animal there, please go smoothly. I hope you don't suffer. I'm sorry that humans did this to you.
Yeah.
You didn't deserve this. And just send them love, bring them treats. And there was nothing I could do. I was 16 years old. But I kept feeling like something was wrong. At the end of the day, the good old boys would come back from the office and they'd be like, honey, it's time to go. And I'd get in my car and I'd leave. But I kept thinking, something's wrong. And my dad was an activist, but for humans. And even though we're activists for animals and humans, but his focus was specifically humans. He started the first charity hospital in Tennessee.
Wow.
And so I felt like I could always go to him when I was fired up because he got it. He got it when that fire's in my belly and I'm raging about something. And he would say, solution, solution, solution. Let's figure it out. So I went to him and I said, something's wrong at the shelter. I know it. And he said, well, get someone there who might be able to tell. So at the time I was making out with this guy named Omar a lot on weekends. And his dad was a vet. And I was like,
yes, Omar,
can you help me out? Omar asked his dad, please, can you go with her? So his dad came and went, and he was like, it's fine. It's just shelter. It's what happened. Anyway, we wrapped that up. Nothing happened. I went off to college. And when I got to school, 2 weeks starting class, my dad sent me an article. Someone else thought the same thing I did. And they had done an undercover investigation and found out that they weren't gassing the animals. They were beating them with concrete blocks at the end of the day. So for that year that I was going there and saying, I hope you go peacefully, these guys were saving the money. They were charging for everything, and they were beating all those animals. They didn't go to jail, by the way. I saw your podcast with Bob Ferber, and I was like, why was he not in Nashville?
Yeah.
But they closed down the shelter. They've revamped it. But I didn't know what to do with that. And my dad came in and was like, you have to change laws. You have to. You can't just pull these animals from the shelters. You have to change laws. So I went to school. I went to NYU to be a lobbyist. That was my intention.
Wow.
I wanted to go and change laws. And 2 years into NYU, I was still flunking all my communication courses because I wouldn't get up and speak in front of people.
Oh,
I kept
same.
fainting. I'm
Same.
terrified.
Look at you now.
I'm terrified.
I could do this, but I could never. I would never give a speech.
I just can't give a speech.
No, never.
And my advisor, thank God, his name's Lauren Rakin, and he was incredible. He came to me on my third year and he said, Julia, you can't have this degree unless you finish these two courses.
No.
You have to finish them.
You have to stop fainting.
You have to get these 2 courses. I can't do anything for you. And he said, look, do me a favor. Will you take 2 more courses and sign up for these acting courses? And I will average out your F. If you can get a better grade in the acting course. And he knew the teacher. So he warmed her up and said, can you help her? She's a really good student. I had a 3.8 other than that, my GPA, because I loved everything I was studying. I knew my passion. I knew what I was going to do. So I did the courses with her. And she got me involved with a radio program at NYU where we did fairy tales about animals and saving animals. And somehow I got off track. So the point is, my passion was always animals, but I got off track. And then I started loving acting. And so I changed my degree. I went an extra 3 years. I changed my degree to theater and acting. And that, when I came out of NYU, that was my degree.
Wow.
And then I did a 2-year program. I got very fortunate. I got an agent very quickly. And I started working and traveling. And I forgot. And it's such a lesson because I just forgot. And in a way, I think I was relieved because I just pushed it aside. And in New York, I wasn't seeing all the animals.
Yeah.
And then cut to about 10 years later, I moved to LA it was like 6 years later, I moved to LA for pilot season. And suddenly it changes because LA is a mess. There are animals everywhere. And cut to a trip to Mexico, brought back dogs. Basically, I ended up getting back involved with rescue. And then I found myself being this actor, but all I could focus on was the rescue. And in fact, I got this job, this sci-fi show, and we were shooting in Vancouver. And I was flying back almost every weekend to do rescue because I felt like things were going to fall through the cracks. And I was sitting in an elevator going up. We're in these tall buildings in Vancouver, right? And the director's on the elevator with me. And he was like, you have to figure this out. You have to make a choice.
Oof.
Because you are not focusing, And he said, I know we're not working on the weekends, but I can tell you have this love. And I was like, yeah, I can do it all. But he was right. And then I left TV and film because I didn't want to focus on it. I just did commercials because it gave more time for rescue.
Yeah.
And cut to, I got into my late 30s and I was like, what am I doing? And then I got into my 40s and that's when I started Hera. And I was like, all right, this is it. And as soon as I started Hera, I think it was 2 weeks after I started, I called my agent, Kristen Nava, who I just adore, and I've been with her since my 20s, and she's just stood by me on everything. And I called her and I said, I'm so sorry, but I think I have to leave this industry. Wow. And she was like, Julia, I get it. You have to go do your fashion. Sorry, it's a long story.
No, I love that. And it actually is so interesting because Ellen and I talk about that all the time. Once you're in it for life. You can't distract you. Well, you distracted yourself for a couple of years, but then it came back. And I know you said you forgot, but I think that you were just able to distract yourself. You can never forget.
You can't forget.
No. And we'll always come back to animal rescue after we feed our hearts for a little bit, which is what we're doing.
Yeah. I heard in one of your podcasts when you said, oh, we'll rescue forever.
It
rang with me because I was like, that's terrifying. And I understand it because it's both.
Once you know the animals are being, I mean, the way that the animals that you had experience with were going, like you can't know that.
You can't unknow or unsee.
Yeah. No.
I mean, and it's like you walk through the door and it closes behind you.
Yeah.
And you're in.
They're like, welcome.
For life.
Welcome for life.
And, and then like, I know you're just like I am because like we were supposed to meet out one night a couple of weeks ago and you're like, wait, there was a baby opossum on the side of the highway and I had to stop and get the opossum and now I have the opossum.
Off the 5 freeway.
Yeah. And now I got to go
traffic out of the HOV lane.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, once you see the actual animal or the eyes of the animal, like that was us with Snoopy. Like, I mean, which was a Baldwin Park dog that we met in passing when we went out there to get another dog. Like we never made a claim on that dog. We never really even hung out with that dog, but I saw that dog. I looked into her eyes.
Well, and we know the fate of that dog.
She was supposed to be euthanized yesterday at 5 o'clock.
I'm sorry.
Killed. Thank you.
Yeah.
We are not going to be.
I do believe language
we are
needs
not
to change.
Going to be PC.
Yeah. Well, euthanize sounds like some sort of like, maybe we're microdosing, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're dying.
It's not euthanasia.
Right.
She was savable.
Right.
She's a puppy.
Yeah.
And by the stars aligning in the universe and all of the networkers and volunteers going overboard and posting and sharing and everything, that dog walked out of Baldwin Park yesterday with an awesome mom and dad.
Hours before.
Yeah.
And like, I almost texted you, I need a drink, but like I have to think like, I can't just drink every day because that's how I feel every day.
But $1
this is
from
just
every
a theme
bottle
today.
goes to
This is
deity.
just a theme today. Just so everyone knows. And by the way, I own a vodka company and I'm the last one to finish my cup.
Oh my
That's
God. Maybe you
drink up, girl.
You see in their eyes, but the thing is you know what their fate is, but I actually think everyone knows what their fate is, right? Everyone knows. I think the difference in why we can't go back is we know it's possible.
Yes.
Major distinction.
Right? Because
Yes.
we know. That's why I stopped on the freeway for that possum, because it wasn't my first time. And I know. I'm like, I know, because so many people who don't know in the world. So many people who don't know go, I can't do anything. The beauty, the ugly beauty, the hard, difficult beauty is we know
We
can make a difference.
Yes.
And that is what motivates all. Actually, that's the claw, right? That's why we can't go back, because we actually know we can make a
Right.
difference.
Right.
And then you're in this place where I feel like you guys are with your rescue right now, where you're like, well, wait a minute. We know what the answer is, but it's like the room is so full of water. I can't get out of it. And we're trying to find a solution because we know we're powerful. We know we can do it. But you can't do it alone. One,
Yeah.
you can't.
You can't.
You can't. And not even that you need people's help. We need laws. We need
Support.
all
more
of it.
than- yes.
all of it.
Yes.
It's a whole machine. But the thing is, too, you're sitting there underwater going, this is so fucking simple.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so then
it's
how
so
do
fixable.
It is fixable, but like, how do you manage that with like, I can't save them all? Because I think that's where Ellen and I are a lot. If we could take 380 dogs from the shelter each time we go, we would.
To me, that's easy.
Oh.
You're right.
Oh.
So can you can't save 15 dogs. You can save 15 dogs in a day, but can you save 45 in a day? Not smartly, right? But,
Well, spay and neuter.
well, that's my answer.
Yes.
That's my point.
Oh.
You can save thousands of dogs. Spay and neuter.
Yeah.
Because you're immediately stopping the birth of, dozens. Because most of the clinics that we fund, I always talk to people who are coming and they almost all have already had several litters. And that's when they're bringing their animals, because they're like, oh, she's already had 2 litters. She's already done this, da-da-da. And so already. And so you're probably stopping the birth of, per dog, 15 more dogs.
Right.
And then you put that into 40 dogs in a spay day. How many are you saving? You're the math person.
Well, yeah, but I've also been drinking.
That's gonna be inserted in. Can you do an insert on Lindsay's math? Lindsay's math pre-cocktail, Lindsay's math post-cocktail.
I know, I've
But
only
that's the
had one,
answer.
so sad.
It is.
I really believe that.
But to your words, spay neuter is not sexy.
no.
And we also fund spay neuter clinics, and they're not cheap,
No.
but raising money for them is such a challenge.
Right.
And it is because like it is easy to like show the eyes and soul of a shelter dog that is just needs to get out and needs a place to stay, or is a medical dog. Like, and I get it. If I were, watching videos like that, I'd be like, okay, that dog needs to live. That dog needs to be okay. But the ask of we need to raise X amount of money to spay neuter X amount of animals to save the lives of unwanted, like that, it's not as tangible, I guess. It's not as visual. It's just hard. It's hard, but that is definitely what needs to happen.
Well,
I mean, Lindsay and I have even tossed around in like our highest moments of compassion fatigue. Do we just raise the money to buy a mobile unit and find the vets?
I say yes. So let's talk about that. So it's interesting. I know you, because I've spent more time with you than I have gotten with Lindsay, but she probably knows I can be a big mouth about some things about politics in LA because I'm very involved in the politics in LA, or I used to be. I used to go to every animal commission meeting. I used to go to the city council meetings because that is where we can make a change. We really can. But there are some things that have happened in the last 10, 12 years that have taken all the tooth out of these out of the commission for sure. It's starting to build back up. But out of what we were doing in LA. And I've been in this so long, I absolutely can say that LA is in way worse condition now regarding dogs and cats than it was 20 years ago. It's so much worse. And we were leading the way. We were one of the first cities to have a mandatory spay and neuter law in LA. But what happened after that is some really powerful organizations came in. The American Kennel Club, which obviously makes money off breeding, the Cattle Association, and some other nonprofit animal rescues that blow my mind of why they don't support spay and neuter regulation. But they came into LA and they ended up helping change the GM, and they put a general manager in who does not support the law. And the second day that she was in, she had all the posters on the back of the spay and animal control trucks. I don't know if you remember, but it used to always be about spay and neuter. Spay and neuter. Spay and neuter.
Yeah.
She had those taken down. We also used to have athletes. I mean, I know there are Dodger players that would definitely do campaigns about spay and neuter, but the city's not going after them now. They used to. We had posters all over the place of musicians and athletes saying, spay and neuter your pets, dude. This is what you do. Real men spay and neuter. Because a lot of it was trying to focus especially on guys, saying it's cool. Do it.
Right.
And so I think we need to get back to those role models. Right. And if we get back to those role models who can speak to those people who are resistant or scared, you know, we're reaching them. And we used to have that in LA, and I don't know why. I mean, I know that there was this big declaration that LA is no kill, and we're not. We're so far from that, and that's such a disservice that happened.
1,000%.
Right, and specifically, let's note that's LA City.
Right.
Because LA County does not say that, and they are certainly not.
No, it's true. No kill.
But LA City
to be
no, and LA City is not no kill.
Correct.
No. Correct. But everyone, it got promoted. NPR, everyone did publicized it.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't know the difference.
Right. Well,
but
now
it was
people
false marketing.
Think they are dropping these pets off at the shelter and it is no kill, but that is not the case. Your pet is not safe because you dropped them off at the shelter, where I think there's a misconception.
And on top of that, say they don't kill your dog, and the dog sits there for 456 days in a tiny kennel. Like, what's worse? You know? Is that a life?
No, I think there are things worse than death.
Right.
Claustrophobia.
Yeah. That's not fair either. Yeah, and that became the thing because there was this pressure of like, we're no kill. So they were just stuffing dogs and cats in every kennel everywhere they can.
Yeah, they are.
And it's also not fair to the employees at the shelters. It's not fair to put that kind of pressure because there are some amazing employees at the shelters.
So you do cats mainly now and opossums that are on the side of the road.
I do, because I tried to stop rescuing. That was the goal. So I was curious when you guys decided with the compassion fatigue how to find a solution, right? So I know when I got to that place, I would sit down. I made a rule. I would sit down with myself once a week and spend an hour or two where I was writing lists. And my requirements were I need a buffer between me and the animals. I needed a buffer because when I'm in person, like at the shelter, I'm going to say yes. I needed to raise a lot of money. And I needed to still be in contact with the rescuers because there's such a love for the people that do rescue well that I admire. We get it and we have a shorthand, and I never want to be without that in my life. Like there's something to it. And it's hard to figure those three things out. It's really tough. And so I was wondering, like, did you guys go right to Pawdcast to try and feel like you can bring in some of that energy again? Can you share some of what you went through?
First of all,
and how much disagreement did you have on that?
I
Okay.
love how you turned this question around
Yeah,
on
who's
us.
interviewing who?
We're having a conversation.
No, I love this because I feel like there could be conflict in the answer. So go ahead. You tell us your side.
Wait, ask the
What was
the question.
And
again.
when you had this compassion fatigue, first of all, I know firsthand it took you a while to get there to call it that.
I thought
It probably, I'm assuming a lot of things have happened with other people in your life. It's stressful. Other people aren't happy because I know it puts stress on everyone, from your children to everything.
It's
financially,
a wrecking ball, like
it's
you
a
said.
wrecking ball.
Yes.
And I don't know any way to avoid that.
So for me,
Yeah.
I am the type of person that I don't really feel about myself. I think you said that too. Like, I just am not good. I've never been good at that. So I just forge forward. And, you know, when you put the dangling carrot of the life and death of animals in front of me, I'm just not going to stop until basically I bury myself.
Yeah.
But then I have a work wife who actually is very good at saying, listen, this is not realistic. What we're doing here.
We have lives.
Yes!
We should be able to live.
That's a good way of looking at it. We
Sum
have
it up.
lives.
We have lives.
Or we're
Yeah.
supposed to have lives.
Yes, we're supposed to have lives outside of the animals. And Lindsay was like, I can't, this is not realistic. I can't do this. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm with you. And so we were just like, what's the answer?
Do you feel like you're making enough impact?
No, I don't.
It's very painful,
frustrating.
right?
So to me, I was like, all right, what can we, in the way that we're in the desperate moment that our hearts and minds are feeling right now, like, what do we have to leverage? And I said to Lindsay, let's start a podcast because that's the way of right now. And
I was like, oh my God, yes, let's do it tomorrow.
yeah, not. No. She was like, no. And I was like, all right, then I might be starting a podcast.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what it actually has given us is people like you coming to us with 25 years of experience in rescue, telling your story, then becoming a small women-owned business, to know that there's like-minded people out there who are feeling the same way, but also have so much to add.
God, it feels like it's just right there.
It does, right?
It feels, because when you say that too with Hera, it's not just a vodka company. It is so, I mean, at first I thought it was just a vodka company raising money for animal rescues. It's so not. We're building this community. And when I hear you say what you're describing, I think about how much it fuels me, because like in the vodka or in the alcohol industry, a lot of brands pay for placements, you know, swipe their cards, spend a lot of money at bars and restaurants. We can't do that. We're already giving money to rescues. We can't do that. And still all these restaurants are like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll bring you on.
Wow.
And to me, that just says like, oh, they get the why. They're jumping on board. When I'm delivering the cocktail kits, just yesterday, I walk up to a house and I see Bowles outside. She answers the door and I was like, hi, you feed feral cats. And I got a whole story about all the cats she TNR'd herself.
Amazing.
Right? Like, but that is the fuel. And so I watched this community around Hera that's building that just, I mean, I love everything about doing this company because of its mission. I love it. And it fuels me, but it reaches this place and I'm like, oh, right there. How do we take that?
Yeah.
And how do we do something really impactful and freaking stop this overpopulation issue? Like how, right? How do we get it past that point? Does that make sense?
No, it totally makes sense. I think that that's a really good point, something that I grapple with a lot, because we are constantly confronted with the worst of people, the people giving up a family member, the people who are getting a dog for Christmas and dumping it at the shelter because it got bigger, like whatever. And then our community and the podcast reminds us that there are good people who want to do good things and are using their life on this planet to make a good impact. And the podcast is serving that purpose for us, and we're hoping that for like people in general. Like there is a lot of shit going on in this world. A lot of people are awful, and there are a lot of people who are still good. And this is reminding me of that.
Yes. Agreed. Tell us your take on
compassion fatigue.
Yes.
I think that in this world you can get hardened, and some would say that's the only way you can do this is by...
I'm taking this down.
I'm only sharing my inner thoughts and soul.
It kept hitting you in the head. Oh my God. You're welcome.
You guys are so married. Wow. It's great.
I think that the only way you can do this work is to harden yourself, to not take everything in, not take everything home. And I got to a place that I was so hard, and we were seeing so much death and so many people letting us down, that I was like, okay, now I'm a robot. I don't care about anything. I wish that I did. And then my mom's dog died, and I thought approaching when she was going to cross the Rainbow Bridge that I was going to be like, well, it's another dog. Like this happens all the time, and I'm going to move on. But there was a part of me that was really brokenhearted about her passing. And it was a relief to me to know that I could still feel anything. And when we have dogs who have been with the rescue for almost 2 years now, and we're getting really down on it, it is really nice to remember that why we got started, why we feel these things, and that we still can feel these things. And yes, it took a bit of a separation from rescue to be able to see those things again. But I feel like in the grand scheme of things, it's going to reinvigorate us so that we can do better in the future. I will say my original intention was that we would focus on the podcast and rescue a little bit less. Like we are always going to rescue.
Here comes the truth. I knew this was coming.
And
I just thought, like this is a lot of work. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we make it look super easy.
No, when you said every week, I was like, wow, that's a lot of commitment.
I thought we would continue to rescue. We would continue to make an impact as we could. But like in my head, we were taking that impact and putting it on a grander platform, which was this rescue. Ellen sees a picture and can't move forward. So I have noticed that our rescue efforts have not gone down. And that makes things a little bit harder now. It feels like we've got more on our plate than before. But what's surprising to me is that though we are continuing to rescue at the rate that we were before, it feels like we have more to give each of these dogs because we're taking this time once a week to fill our cups. So it's working.
So this has now become marriage therapy and a safe space, and she's saying things.
It's the sofa.
Yeah.
It's the sofa.
And the alcohol.
And it's the alcohol. Whatever. And one cocktail.
So what I'm hearing.
So what I'm hearing.
I get this. Because what I was seeking, if we are just blunt in the language of it, I was seeking something that would fulfill me and create impact, so I would freaking say no more and not just say yes all the time, because I needed something that I could then say, I'm sorry, I can't because I'm doing these incredible things somewhere else. And already, I have an advisory board with a vodka, and one of them's Leslie Durso, this incredible vegan chef, and an even more incredible woman. And so giving and so smart. And she probably once a week has to say it to me, Julia, eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the prize. This company is going to blow up, and you are going to have so many spay vans. Do not lose focus. Because you know what happens? When you do that, though, you have to watch animals die.
Yeah.
They will die. And it's not so easy, In marriages, my husband gets it most of the time, but a lot of times he'll be like, or especially friends will say, you got to say no. And I was like, you have no idea how often I say no. I say no I know you guys say no.
I text you all the time about cats and you say no.
No, we have to say, you can't say yes to all the stuff we have.
Right.
Because we're already so full. And the problem is, a no is not just like, oh no, I won't have more gravy. No is, I say no,
They're
and
gonna
someone
die.
will die.
Yeah.
Someone will die. Which the only way for me, I don't know for you guys, but the only way for me to stop that pain is to have more impact another way.
Yes.
It's the only way I can do it. I can't distract myself from it. I tried with acting.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it another way.
Right.
I can't just forget it. I can't think it's someone else's issue or someone else is going to take care of it. It literally, this is my purpose in life, and I have to find a way to make more impact. And I am also on that journey. I hope it's this. I'm trying, and I love doing it. But I think it resonates, right?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Totally. And you are a hustler, by the way. I've seen you in action. And I believe that it's
the animals. I can hustle.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's like a dangling carrot, like with a dog. A dog's life in front of you. I totally get it. And you're going to make this happen. I know it.
But literally when I with the vodka, it's about saving myself too. I can't lie about that. It's saving myself.
Of course.
Because
that's what I always tell her. Like, if we're dead,
we're
not doing anything. So we have to stay alive.
It's very difficult to walk that balance though and figure it out.
I've never had a problem saying no. That's never been my
Are you
thing.
sure?
Good at it.
Are you sure?
Well, I think you have a problem saying no to me sometimes.
No, but let me ask you, if you didn't have a partner, because everything's about a balance. If you didn't have a partner who has trouble saying no, you would have to, you would be, faced with
we're
something
doing a
different.
yin yang thing. So it's easier for me to say no because I know that she's going to say yes. And you know what? That is very true because a lot of time, so we've talked about this before on the podcast, but my initial reaction to everything is no.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll think about it and it will settle and I'll be like, okay, well, that could have been a yes. And sometimes I'll regret it if it was like a split decision that I had to make right away. And she gives me that buffer because she'll argue for the yes.
Right.
So my initial no can't always be the no. It'll be like, oh, okay, it's a yes. And thank God I had the opportunity to really think about it. So you might be onto something. I tend to think I have no problem saying no, but I have never done animal rescue without her. So I don't know.
I think you would have a big problem.
Oh.
I do. Because you're in it.
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
You were the one on the podcast that I watched where you said we will be rescuing forever.
You said
it
that.
You
is
said
on
that.
Camera?
Yes, you said. And I was like, wow,
She has receipts, people.
And I literally in my mind had this visual of all the vacations you won't take, all the things that will happen. I was like,
traveling.
she just made that.
Yeah, but even when you do travel, even on your honeymoon, you were working, and I felt really badly about every time I had to text you, but you responded.
I just don't think you felt that bad.
I
just knew you were probably taking a shot when I texted you, so it was fine.
But the fact that you say, and I have to say, I don't know which podcast it was on, which episode, but no one asked you, will you be doing this the rest of your life? You said it. So I actually think you're more yes than you think.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely yin yang. It works. I think that if I were doing it on my own, I would do it. I would be a very cautious treader and I wouldn't take a lot of risks. And I think that we can because we do it together. But how do you do it?
Well, it's really complicated though. People don't realize the actual rescue part is not the hard part.
Right.
It's everything after.
Right.
And so they're in this adrenaline. And sure, we pull that dog, but my God, it's the year, the 2 years, it's all the other stuff. It's when, something happens 5 years later, or maybe the owner gets Parkinson's and you have to take the dog back. Like, people don't understand the easy part. The easy part is the dopamine, is the adrenaline
the
rush.
Freedom walk.
Yeah.
We love that too. I could do freedom walks all day, every day.
Long.
That isn't the part that's hard.
No.
Right.
1,000%.
And honestly, we're doing the work of the city.
Totally.
Too.
But we're not getting paid like the city.
No, but we're doing the work of the city.
Yep.
But we do have a small army in LA that's really amazing. Like the most incredible people and rescuers. And I do feel like there should be some kind of system. It's just something I've been thinking about lately, where working with the city, where those rescuers aren't paying, I don't know, there's some system. I don't know how to make it work. It's just a thought, because we are doing the job of the city, and it's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Whether you get health insurance covered, maybe, because you're doing all this stuff.
Sanctions of sorts for doing the work of,
yes.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Who do we talk to about that?
I don't know. Someone, let's think, and have them on your podcast.
Yeah.
Find out.
What can Bob Ferber do?
He could probably do a lot.
He's OG, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
OG.
That was pretty cool.
And he knows the politics of LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think of like what goes on in his head, like not having control right now and seeing what's happening.
Oh,
like, I can't.
that felt tragic to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to turn this back around on you.
We're getting to solutions. We're finding some answers.
Great. We're going to do that too, I hope, in this podcast.
Okay, before you turn this around, though, I do want to say the spay and neuter thing, I think you're onto something. And after we do this, I think we should continue talking about that, about joining forces.
It makes a lot of sense to us. When we have a spay and neuter day and we look at the numbers, we say that was money really, really well spent. But I don't think that is a broadly accepted point of view.
No, but I think if you do it as a co-op, sort of,
right?
No rescue has to put too much in. So they can still keep their donors going with, the day-to-day rescue, everything that's going, but slowly build this messaging, right? And the amazing thing is they all have people they can bring in. So you're building this community. And I don't know if it exists in another city. Like I was just thinking about that. We should research and see if this actually happens in any other city. If not, then it'd be fun to lead the way, to say we've started a co-op. It's literally a spay and neuter co-op.
Yeah.
You want to buy into this co-op? Come do it. This is what we offer that day. Video, footage, content, because everyone needs that, right?
Yes.
Like I'll tell you a little fantasy, and maybe this will happen because I'm on here. I really, really, really want Hera at Coachella somehow. And I want some bars at Coachella I can sell it at cost to them. And I know people pay a lot of money, brands pay all this money to be in Coachella. I can't pay that money. But what I can do, because I'm a rescuer and I've been in this so long, I can give it to them at cost. Then I want them at all their bars to sell like a Hera lemonade and donate $1 per cocktail. $1 per cocktail. Raise it by $1 if they need to. I don't care. But give $1 per cocktail back to the foundation. Imagine how much money can be raised in a couple of days. And then my commitment is within 2 weeks, I will have a van in Coachella Valley.
Oh, they need that so bad.
Yeah. They need a van. It's a mess
so
there.
Bad.
And this festival's coming there and leaving, and it is out of control in Coachella Valley. Like there's so many animals. There aren't as many cats because they're being eaten, because there's dogs everywhere. But I can get a van there within 2 weeks. And we get in there and we spay and neuter and spay and neuter and spay and neuter with that. And so within 2 weeks, I get that in. I can send them content within 4 weeks. So then they have all that content to publicize with the festival.
Yeah,
and
they should leave the city better than they found it.
Yes. And in fact, I even have the opening visual is that all the trucks, because the last trucks from the concert are the huge trucks leaving, and our little spay van is going in, and all the big trucks are coming out. And it's like we say the little vodka that will, right?
I love that.
And then we could do rescues coming in as a coalition, as a co-op coming in, and we just spend like a good week or two, get a few Airbnbs, and we just spay and neuter, spay and neuter, spay and neuter.
All right, we are going to tag every single person that we have to on this and send it to them.
In fact, I'd love when you look back, can you figure out how many times we say spay and neuter in this episode?
Yeah,
we should
you guys
drink
have
to
the
it.
AI for that,
oh my
right?
God, there's a drinking game. Every time we say spay and neuter, you take a sip. Well, it's important because every night we chill at the Airbnb and we regroup. We could do Love Leo, you guys. We could get like a little group.
Wow.
In just 2 weeks, go out there.
Who do we know at Coachella? We've got to make this happen.
I would have to think about that.
She knows.
Let's think about it, because I feel like that's the feel good, right?
Yeah, totally.
It feels good.
Also,
Thinking about it feels good.
Yeah.
we need to put this out there too, because this, I don't want this to be a hurdle. We need vet veterinarians to come forward and say,
That's
you know what,
another whole-
I'm going to
donate my services.
Yes. So if you're listening to this and you're a vet or you know a vet who might want to be a part of our co-op.
Yes. And let me add to that, even if you're a vet who does not know how to do quick spay and neuter, because it is different, a vet could still give services. There's so many other things they can do. Because I know a lot of vets who say, I want to contribute, but I can't. They're not trained in that kind of spay and neuter in a matter of, 2 minutes doing stuff.
Right. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. How cool would that be if like this whole vision was born from drinking Hera the Dog Vodka on a sofa?
So many visions are born here.
So many.
Yes.
And
well, you guys are seeking. That's the whole point.
we're open.
You're seeking for something through the podcast.
Here it is. Coachella.
And
here
other
we come.
things.
Yeah.
Let's
In
say
every
we're
podcast
all
you
going to
do.
be at Coachella 2024.
Yeah.
All of us.
Okay.
I'm trying to be productive because I want something
We're
to come
so
out of
productive. It's so good.
I know, but you're also trying not to have the focus on you, and you're our guest,
this. Okay.
for a reason, because you are a badass,
Thanks.
and you have been a badass force in rescue for a very long time. You speak of cat colonies. Tell us what these cat colonies are, what they do.
What happens basically is a cat is let out of their house, an unspayed, unfixed cat's let out of the house or lost. But a lot of times just people let them roam. They have kittens, but they'll have kittens somewhere not around humans. And so the kittens are wild.
Uh-huh.
They never get socialized with humans. So they're feral. They're still domesticated animals, but they're feral in behavior because they haven't been socialized. And then those kittens have kittens, and those kittens have kittens, and so on and so on. And then before you know it, there's 70 cats in a location, and people are complaining, and they're sick, and they're almost dying. Some die, but some not sick enough to not have more babies, and it gets out of control. The situation, I mean, you think the situation's bad with dogs right now? It's probably about, I'd say maybe 8-9 times worse with cats right now.
I had a feeling you were
It's
gonna
bad.
say that.
It's bad. Like Lux Paws, one of the organizations in LA, they're out every night trapping. And the last time I talked to Jackie, I think it was about 40, 50 places still waiting for them to come TNR areas. It's bad. And the only free spay and neuter really are the few mobile vans like Stray Pods, which is amazing, and Fix Nation. But Fix Nation can only do so much in a day. So my cat colonies, my main one is off La Brea, near San Vicente Boulevard. And one day I was driving with a dog to take it to training, and I stopped just to let them pee because I was early for the appointment. Got out and I saw cats everywhere at this business, and I was like, oh shit. How many times do you say that?
Yeah.
Right? You're like, God damn it.
Why did I have to be here at this time?
Yes.
Why did I have to look out the window?
Yes. Yes. Forward. Only forward. And so I took the dog, did that, came back, and it turned out there were over 70 cats there. And someone was feeding them like every other day, leaving water. And that is a problem because people feed and they don't spay and neuter. She'd been doing it for years. The business was unhappy. They wanted them gone. So I talked to the business and had to hardline, terrified when you do this, right? Because you think they'll choose just to have them killed. But I said, listen, I can help you. I can come in and TNR, but there's going to be cats that have to live here for life.
And TNR.
Oh, trap, neuter, and release. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you trap, you neuter, and release the ferals. The ones that are tameable, you take in and you place if you have room. So I said to the place, I can do this, but they have to stay here for life, the ones that we can't tame down. Or you're on your own. And they're like, can animal control just come and take them? Nope, they won't do that. They can't do that. And thank God they won't, right? And so they made an agreement. They said fine. They weren't happy about it. And it took us about 2 years to get everyone fixed.
Wow.
In the meantime, a couple of them kept having babies.
Right.
Finally got it down to a solid 48 cats.
Wow.
And
My
this was
God.
15 years and 7 months ago. And we feed every night. We've never missed a night. They get wet food mostly, a little bit of kibble, They get water changed. They have tree houses. They have bedding. They get heat disc at night in the winter. Oh. There's only a few left at this point. When they get where they still have quality of life, but maybe like Big Daddy's eyes were going, so he was going blind, so he can't be there. I trapped him, and my husband let me build a little catio apartment in the back of the garage, so it has an indoor-outdoor, totally enclosed.
We love your husband.
You know, we have a little IKEA bed in there, like for for a kid. And they have a
Big
window.
Daddy is stoked.
Yes. So that's where they go when they still have quality of life.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could be happy. So I have a camera in there to see them when I'm not around. Because when I come in there, they freeze. They're terrified. There's just 2 in there right now. There's only really space, maybe 4 total in there. But when I'm not watching, I see them play. I see them lounging. Because it's important to me, like we were saying. I don't want to be the prisoner. I want them to be happy. Some of the cats we've gotten from there, we've had to make a decision when they're unhealthy to end their life because I was like, they're not cats. I actually have one in my bathroom right now. Orange boy. He's been there the whole time. So he's 17 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And he has a tumor that ruptured on his leg. He could probably live with that, but he's not a cat that does well in that kind of captivity. So I know I have to make a decision to have someone come to the house. I'm just haven't been brave enough yet to do it, which is another whole weight that we have to do. So those are cat colonies, and there are feeders all over Los Angeles, all over the world doing this. And it's very different than rescue because you do have to go there every day. And a lot of times, I'm fortunate. Our 2 colonies, we have the blessing of the people there. So I get to come and go as I want. Most places, they're sneaking in. They're trying to get the food in on paper plates, hoping the paper plates blow away by the time the cats eat it because people are trying to poison them. Things like that. There are so many feeders that it's already stressful that, you want to go to a movie one night or this, you have to feed before dark and they have to finish because coyotes might come, but that's right in the middle of a movie. So you have to tell your friends, I can't go to that movie, and it's a huge responsibility that a lot of people in LA are doing and other places.
That's amazing. My mother's actually, for the last, I want to say 5, 6, 7 years, there was a cat colony by her house and like the neighborhood underneath her. There's like kind of woods between. And she and the woman down below on the street, they were picking these cats up, trapping them.
Yep.
And taking them to Animal Friends in Pittsburgh, where my mother used to volunteer, and they would spay and neuter them and cut their ear and put them back out. And initially, there were cats everywhere in the neighborhood, everywhere. But at this point, like, we just see a couple here and there. Yep. And they all look alike. We all know they're descendants of the original. But, and they continue to do this. And it's just very manageable at this point. So
it's interesting, right? Because it is manageable. You have a vacuum effect. If you remove them, others will come.
Right.
So that won't work. You know what works?
Spay and neuter.
Cheers. I like this drinking game.
So good.
It works. And they keep the mice away. And I rescue mice and everything, right? So I don't want them killed. Of
course you do.
I don't want them killed, but I see the rats just bypass the colony. They go on the wires because they're like, there's cats down there. We won't go. And this business has never had to have pest control. They have nothing out there. Fox Studios has a cat colony. Disneyland has a colony behind the Tower of Terror.
Wow.
Or used to be a Tower of Terror. What is it now?
I haven't been to Disneyland.
Yeah, it's changed. So they have a cat colony there.
Oh.
So a lot of places have the Flower Mart downtown. They have a cat colony.
This is like the underground.
The underground.
Right? It literally is.
Wow.
And they keep the mice and rats away so you don't have to put out poison because no one should be putting out poison or glue traps or anything like that. We need everyone in a balance.
I know.
Yeah, we all live here. This is all of our planets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, veganism. Tell us your story into becoming vegan.
Wow, I don't even know it.
What year was that? Do you remember?
I became vegetarian in 1985. I know exactly when. I had seen a picture of a pig. I'd seen lots of images, but this one picture of a pig about to be slaughtered, I was like, pepperoni. Oh, you're gone.
Who needs
gone.
that?
And then So I was like, I can do this. So I cut out meat, but I loved cheese. And then a friend of mine who's fellow rescuer, Evelyn Gray, has been vegan since in the 70s. And she just kept kind of bringing it up. It's all about the right time. And then one day it finally clicked that the dairy industry, honestly, is probably way crueler than the meat industry in so many ways, because they're impregnating the cows, then the babies be fetal, they're separated. These cows, these moms are suffering their entire lives, and then they get slaughtered. Like, there's just no happy life. And as soon as it clicked, same thing. I was like, can't go back. I can't go back. And I do, it's tough because everyone has their different times. We look in animal rescue and you look at people who are buying dogs and we're like, how? But that's just how that is. They're not at that place yet.
Right.
And I will say, running a dog's life, I would be at adoptions and all our volunteers would be eating burgers and this and that. And I was like, but there's no difference. There's no difference. And I felt very lonely in that way. And I wanted to be more in the vegan world. But dog and cat rescue is not very involved in the vegan world generally. And when I started Hera, it suddenly opened that up because I started knowing vegan chefs and getting involved in more of the restaurants. And I felt like it gave me a community that I'd been longing for a really, really long time. And a really cool community, like a towel at Crossroads Kitchen, for example. I mean, my favorite vegan restaurant, amazing vegan restaurant.
Oh
right?
My God.
But he is just so cool about most of his friends eat meat, everyone's around, and that's important to me, like acceptance, because we all have different places we're in in our life. My husband's not vegan, but he does all the cooking at home and he only cooks vegan because I can't cook. At all.
But you could do so many other things.
You're feeding cat colonies.
Yes. So, I mean, I'll never not be vegan. It's the most important thing I've ever done in my life. And it brings me so much joy, so much flavor. It's the proudest thing I've ever done in my life, for sure.
Amazing.
Feels good.
It does. Thanks for asking about that. I don't really bring it up just because.
I know. I'm the same way. I mean, I'm not always vegan, but I stopped eating meat in whatever night was
I
on
wasn't there.
Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh.
First run. When Kelly and Dylan were in the pool.
Wow.
And they made out for the first time, cheating on Shannon Doherty.
Okay.
And you said, I'm not eating meat anymore.
Well, after that was 48 hours, and they euthanized a dog, a greyhound, for not performing during a race.
Killed.
And I was like, who the fuck died and left us God on who lives and dies in the world? I was like, and also the night before I had been, it was my friend Erica's 21st birthday, and she had done 21 shots and then wanted to go through the White Castle drive-thru and made me eat a slider. And I was so sick the next day. I'm like, ew, that was it.
So it all came together.
Hungover, PMSing, and sad. I was like, done. And I called my parents and I said, I'm done eating meat. And my mother's like, maybe this has been like a segue all along because that's why you put ketchup on everything. Right. And I think it was. And I still put ketchup on everything.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It all just came together.
It all came together. Also, I have a son who's 16 now. And to your point, like, he needs to come to it on his own. He knows that I don't eat meat. He knows why. He, too, is an animal lover. But I'm not one to, like, hard sell him.
It's not going to help.
It's not going to help. In fact, it would probably,
be the opposite.
Exactly. So we're going to let him be him. And if and when that happens, great.
And you be that role model.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to, it's fine. I just make 2 dinners.
More competitive in nature than with
She is.
She is. You are.
I am?
Yes. Competition. Oh,
Just in working out.
In everything. Do you recall a time when I was like, Ellen, you need to bring it down a notch or two?
What was it about?
It's always dog chasing.
Oh my God.
It's always
that could be a field day event.
She then sees like her eyes turn a different color.
I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Oh, she's
Give
an
me
adrenaline
a dog
junkie. Yeah.
that needs to be caught, and I'm going to be faster than that
I've
dog.
seen her run to someone's car and say, "Give me your belt."
Give me your belt.
So that she could use it to help get the dog.
Yeah.
A random person on the road driving.
Maybe
but guess who
you should have been with
usually
me with trapping? That
Oh,
was
I'm good.
You would have loved it.
But now I just know how to channel my energy differently. I'm still fast,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also not looking at that dog, and he's not going to see me get in front of him.
Well, you can't. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
They can't know.
She needs to check her energy.
It's
sometimes.
very finessed. It's very finessed.
We
And
got to be cool, calm, and
Yeah.
collected.
And it could take days, and you know that. It
Yeah.
takes days sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yes. We're
Cool.
better. She's usually the one who actually will sit with her back to the dog and somehow like drape the leash around
nice.
the neck.
As a pair, that's important to have that. I will say with Allie and I, when we were doing A Dog's Life, we were both really good at that because you have to be extremely patient. And the whole time you're running through your head, what if this doesn't work? What if this doesn't work? And then the fifth image is when it works.
Yes.
And it's what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? And then it's, oh my God, what if it works?
Julia, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your cocktail kits and for sharing your life with us.
Oh my gosh.
We're so lucky to know you.
I feel so lucky to know you too. Seriously, thank you for everything you do. Everything. Because I know you pay a price to do what you do. I also know it's incredibly fulfilling at the same time. And I look forward to when we're doing spay and neuter in Coachella. Spay and neuter.
Cheers.
Cheers. See you at Coachella.